You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. Folks, the House voted down an impeachment resolution today introduced by Congressman Al Green of Houston. He wanted to begin impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump. He has certainly earned it, but Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she has been arguing for them to take this very slow. It's been a contentious several weeks since, of course, Bob Mueller released his report laying out potential obstruction of justice by Donald Trump. He left it up to Congress to make the determination. He said he could not do so because of this silly memo written during the Nixon administration saying that the president cannot actually be indicted, which is actually BS if you say that somehow he's above the law. Let's talk about this right now with Mike Brown, former DNC Finance Chair Committee, former Vice Chair, DNC Finance Committee, and also A. Scott Bolden, Aloysius Scott Bolden, former Chair, National Bar Association, PAC.
I was joking about that.
Is that what the A stands for?
My name is A. Scott Bolden. Just call me Scott, sir.
What does the A stand for?
Alan, A-L-A-N.
You lying. It stands for Aloysius. Don't even front. That's what it stands
my
for.
mother be watching from above. Don't do that.
And from above, she's gonna lay hands on you as well, but disrespecting me. All right, let's get right to it. It's no shock, Michael, that this has failed. Pelosi, she always had the votes, but what she is dealing with is a very, very unsettled, angry constituency on the left who wants this man held accountable. He has ordered his folks to ignore subpoenas from this administration. They will not testify. Even folks who no longer even work for the White House, they're claiming blanket immunity on everything. At what point, though, does Nancy Pelosi have to do something? And the strategy is, well, hopefully the courts will agree with us on this. But again, when you got a restless body of people, they're not going to make it easy.
You know, as you and I have talked about it, you know, I'm a loyal soldier of Speaker Pelosi. But on this one, I think she may be miscalculating. I think you need to get this impeachment thing done and move on and get back to legislating. We know what the Senate's going to do. So what if he's going to come out and say that he was exonerated? He will have the label of impeachment on his name going up through the election. So from my standpoint, get this impeachment thing over with, let the Senate exonerate, and then get back to worrying about prescription drugs, worrying about 2020, health care, and keep it moving. But right now, I think it's wasting. He's frankly winning. You know, I don't like saying his name, 45. Mm-hmm. The longer this takes, whether it's court battles, them not showing up for hearings, time is ticking, time is ticking. Then it'll be too late to start an impeachment battle.
Here's what I think she's doing, Scott. Aloysius. I think what she's doing, I think Democrats, first of all, let's just start for this premise. Democrats do not play to win. They play to compete. Republicans play to win. Even if that means if you're in a fist fight, they'll pick up a branch or a 2x4 or a crowbar, hit you in the head with it. They don't care. And then they won't even apologize. Later, they'll say, tough, you should have grabbed it before we did. Mm-hmm. I think Nancy Pelosi is spooked by the impeachment of Bill Clinton. I think what she is saying, she saw the popularity of Bill Clinton after he got impeached, how the Senate did not convict, and her deal is like, why do if they won't convict? But here's the problem with that. Tomorrow, they're likely going to take a vote on the minimum wage, guaranteeing the federal minimum wage at $15 an hour. Mitch McConnell is not going to bring it up. So when you try to make the argument that, well, there's no sense in doing this if the Senate won't convict, but you're passing bills they won't even vote on. Exactly. So you're actually doing counter to what your argument is on impeachment.
Can somebody give a standing ovation to Congressman Al Green? If somebody's listening out here, have his money people send me a card or something so I can make a contribution to him.
You ain't even made a contribution to this show, and you've been on it since we started.
With you.
See, there you go right there. All right, right. Trust me.
But
Al Green, don't wait.
Let me tell you
Alpha Al Green, don't wait on his contribution.
I'm
it's going to be a while.
with you, Al Green. Trust me, because you got heart,
Okay,
You
I'm gonna text him right now and tell him.
urgency of this. You tell him. He understands the urgency of the moment. That this strategy of hanging back and counting votes, and if you can't get a conviction, then you don't move forward on the constitutional requirement that you move forward. I'll tell you something else it does. It makes the Democrats look confused, and they are confused, because when you put your finger up in the political winds and say, can I get a conviction or not, then you're not being loyal to the obvious. You're not being loyal to someone that is a racist, someone who has obstructed justice in the Mueller report, and someone who has defied subpoenas on the House and Senate side. And so as a result, what is Congress's role in all of this? What is Pelosi's leadership in all of this? Because you're right. They're doing the same thing on substantive legislation, and it's not getting passed. And I got to tell you,
not even getting passed. They're not. He's not even bringing it to the floor.
Exactly.
He won't even consider it. It's kind of like they're just passing stuff. He's kind of like, yeah, okay. Holler at me when y'all done.
At least we would be unified. At least the proceedings leading up to 2020, we would televise the power of the allegations, the high crimes and misdemeanors, and we would educate the public in a unified fashion. When I travel the country, and you tell me whether it's true for you too, when I talk to Democrats, whether it's socially or at a forum, what have you, the number one question they ask me is, what are we doing, Scott? What is our position? We talk about this unity and diversity, but we seem real confused on a real simple issue called Donald Trump. Where are we going? What are we going to do? What is expected of us as voters?
This was what
you get that too? Because I get it all the time.
This is what Al Green had to say today on the floor of the U.S. House before the vote was taken. Go to my iPad.
Follows. Impeaching Donald John Trump, President of the United States, of high misdemeanors. Resolved that Donald John Trump, President of the United States, is unfit to be president, unfit to represent the American values of decency and morality, respectability and civility, honesty and propriety, reputability and integrity, is unfit to defend the ideals that have made America great, unfit to defend liberty and justice for all, as extolled in the Pledge of Allegiance, is unfit to defend the American ideal of all persons being created equal, as exalted in the Declaration of Independence, is unfit to ensure domestic tranquility, promote the general welfare, and to ensure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, as lauded in the preamble of the United States Constitution, is unfit to protect government of the people, by the people, for the people, as elucidated in the Gettysburg Address, and is impeached for high misdemeanors, that the following article of impeachment be exhibited to the Senate. Article of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the United States, in the name of itself, of the people of the United States, against Donald John Trump, President of the United States, in maintenance and support of its impeachment against him for high misdemeanors committed as president, constituting harm to American society, to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Article 1. The House of Representatives on July 16, 2019, strongly condemned President Donald Trump's racist comments that have legitimized and increased fear and hatred of new Americans and people of color by saying that our fellow Americans who are immigrants and those who may look to the president like immigrants should go back to other countries, by referring to immigrants and asylum seekers as invaders, and by saying that members of Congress who are immigrants are those of our colleagues who are wrongly assumed to be immigrants do not belong in Congress or in the United States of America. In all of this, the aforementioned Donald John Trump.
Well, Monique Presley, Principal Presley Law Firm. So Pelosi has a strategy. The vote was 332 to 95. And they had to act within 2 days of him filing the resolution, based upon the rules and procedures. Do you agree that what Pelosi is doing, taking this thing very slowly, is the appropriate task? Does it make Trump look emboldened, look stronger by pretty much saying, the hell with everything y'all do? I'm not going to send anybody to Capitol Hill. They're not going to testify. We're not going to go down. In fact, also now Bob Barr is now trying to get the Democrats to delay their contempt vote for him and Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary.
Do I agree with what Pelosi is doing? No.
Why?
Because we're past the point where we can make political decisions and justify them in that ultimately down the road it will get us to the right thing. We're at the point where people who are brown and black and woman and man, and I mean horse, dog, cat, need to see that there are leaders whom, when we elect them, will do the right thing for the sake of it being the right thing, and will bear the brunt of the consequences for that, and will blaze a path forward from the right thing that is done. There's no doubt in my mind, I'm a supporter of Speaker Pelosi. There's no doubt in my mind that she knows that Donald John Trump is a criminal. She knows that he should be impeached. She's trying to do what is right in her mind as Speaker and push forward an agenda for the Democrats. But there are people in this country who are neither Democrat nor Republican who are just hurting, who are injured.
But here is the problem with what I have with Democrats keep saying, oh, we got to focus on our agenda. He is your agenda.
Exactly.
His policies and fighting his policies are your agenda.
And he's blocking your other agenda items.
And the reality, Michael, the reality here, which that is critically important to understand, is that his agenda is to ignore you, is to trash you, is to flout the law, is to make you appear to be impotent and weak. And that's what he's actually doing. His actions, there is no way in hell had Obama done 1/10 of what this man has done, that Republicans will go, nah, we're just going to take this thing slow. We're just going to slow walk it. That would not happen.
Like we've talked about, and you alluded to it a few minutes ago, it's when you try to bring a knife to a gunfight, and that's what's so frustrating about the party that I love so much, which is the Democratic Party, is we forget that it's about, and I hate to say it, but it's about winning. You can't govern, you can't put your policy forward unless you win. Mm-hmm. There's nothing worse than a politician that wants to make a point but doesn't win.
I ran a great. It was like a bunch of, it was like, yeah, a bunch of people. Like so and so ran a great race. Yep, they lost. And I'm sorry. And when you talk about where we are, when you talk about these federal judges he's appointing, when you talk about these policies, when you talk about how he doesn't give a damn about the environment, he is overturning anything and everything. He was just, look, Elizabeth Warren just went off the other day on a guy who he nominated, I think, for high position, Raytheon executive. Mm-hmm. First of all, this guy was a lobbyist for Raytheon. Says to the committee, I will not recuse myself from any decisions dealing with Raytheon. She then said, would you not lobby 4 years after leaving? He's like, no, I ain't gonna do that either. But I ain't damn all that. I mean, it's like what he has done is he is literally putting evil folks in charge of everything and then going, what y'all gonna do? Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, you have to fight that. And you can't play this game of, oh, but if we play it safe, we got the election next year, you know what, we can beat them there. Okay, that is the plan, but you might not.
Yeah.
Then what?
And they could spend the next, it's July right now, August, September, October, November, December, January. It may take them a good 6, 8, 9 months to get through the impeachment process, maybe less than that. But along the way, they have these televised hearings, and the evidence, they're making their case really to the American public.
And that's the point of the hearings.
Exactly.
Monique, if you look at the polling number with Nixon, first of all, nobody wants to go through impeachment. It's not like, yeah, what the heck, we'll go through it.
Right. No.
This is not like in other countries where they'll switch a prime minister in the middle of a term like it's no big deal. In the Nixon administration, it was low 20s, maybe high 30s. Folks like impeach. But it wasn't until the daily hearings and witnesses and listening to what was done and going over it methodically where that number went up and up and up and up. And that's what led Howard Baker to make that slow walk up.
That long walk.
That long walk up Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's
Saying,
right.
It's time for you to go.
It's time.
It's time for you to go.
It's time.
Speaker
Why
Pelosi,
is that so hard?
Go ahead.
Speaker Pelosi is not referencing Nixon. She's referencing Clinton.
No, I understand that.
She's referencing something that is not just within all of our memory. It's something that's within her time of service.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem where I think she's dead wrong. I remember the Clinton deal. The Clinton deal came down to one thing. Y'all trying to impeach him over a blowjob? Just straight up.
Basically.
Sex?
That's what it came down to for a liberal.
No.
But the GOP, Roland,
No.
as we've said over and over again.
No.
What I'm saying is...
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Stand down.
Let me finish.
Please.
It came down to, it wasn't Whitewater and McDougal and whatever. It was like, wait a minute, hold up. Because if you listen to all... Y'all are pretty much saying he lied about sex.
Yes.
That's what pretty much the American public heard.
That was it.
In this case, we ain't talking about sex. We're talking about Russians. We're talking about meetings. We're talking about lying. We're talking about destroying evidence. We're talking about a number of things that were in the Mueller report. 10 to 15 different examples. This ain't sex.
Okay.
I think people with Bill Clinton, so she's referencing Bill Clinton, but here's the other thing, the last point that you can respond. Bill Clinton was in his second term. Mm-hmm. Okay? This ain't the second term. This is the first term.
Yeah.
It was a whole different deal there. Go ahead.
But the reason why I said she's referencing Bill Clinton, and I didn't mean because it's like blowjob compared to treason. What I meant is it's popularity compared to popularity. And Bill Clinton was as popular a president as we had seen at modern times in those times, especially for the party of purity, which is what, I don't even know when it happened, when the Democrats became the ones where you have to be like squeaky clean, goody two-shoes, can't say nothing wrong, can't do nothing wrong, can't think nothing wrong, or they'll put you out. Whereas on the GOP side, as the current president said, middle of a street in New York, shoot somebody dead, and he'll still be president. I believe he's right about it.
Oh, I do too.
I'm sorry, Scott, I'm not finished.
I do too.
I believe that his supporters will remain supporters. So what she is saying is, what will it take, because she's a numbers girl, and I appreciate that, for me to get the numbers out of the Senate when the people who support this man, because you just said, what's the point in doing it unless we win? And I'm not saying, hold on. I'm not saying I don't support impeachment, because I do. I wish it had happened 15,000 trillion million day one when I was crying on my sofa when he won years ago. What I am saying is, She's saying, do we do it if we can't win?
But here's-
You're
let me tell
saying,
you
don't do
why
other
that's flawed.
things unless we can win.
But
She's
that's
saying,
such a flawed-
let's not do this unless we can win.
But here-
and she knows we can't win.
But Scott, the point I made yesterday why I challenged DOJ to pursue charges against the cop who killed Eric Garner. The DOJ takes this position of, well, if we can't win, we're not going to
You
pursue.
challenged Bill Barr?
No, this is what I said. I said, because even I took it back 4 years ago when Sheila Jackson Lee said to me when I moderated the town hall of CBCF, she said, I would love to see the DOJ take some chances. Stop this notion that, well, if I can't win it or if I can't see it right now, I'm not even going to try. Yeah. I'm saying in this case here, I believe that, first of all, his base is only about 35%.
Thank you.
That's
Nobody
first.
cares.
No. You said
deepest
numbers.
flaws.
You said numbers. I do believe.
I said numbers for the Senate vote.
No, but here's the deal, though.
Not
you
numbers
can't
in the
even.
population.
But here's the deal. The reality is, first of all, you can't show me in the history where impeachment was even guaranteed. Impeachment is never guaranteed.
Right.
So there's no such thing as, oh, I'm definitely going to win over there, so let's go for it.
Right.
No.
But here's the deepest flaw.
In fact, but here's the piece, though. How many times in American history have we gone down impeachment?
Right.
3 times.
But what?
Hold on, no, wait. How many times?
3 times.
The first time, what happened? He wasn't
Resigned.
convicted.
No, he wasn't.
The
He
second,
resigned.
the first time, which wasn't Nixon, it was Johnson, wasn't convicted.
No.
The second time,
He resigned.
he resigned
Right.
because he
Third
saw the
time,
wins.
Didn't work.
The third time
He wasn't convicted.
was the result of the same thing that happened with Johnson.
Wasn't convicted.
But the bottom line is,
We got zero chances of success.
But the bottom line is,
That doesn't matter. Here, look at the flaw.
take the shot. But
Here's the
again,
flaw.
it does matter because with Clinton, there was no third term.
You don't.
You all really want
I'm
to
not- I
compare
am saying-
Clinton's popularity to Trump's
No.
popularity.
What I'm saying is,
But there's no
what I'm
comparison.
saying is,
Trump is eminently more popular.
no, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
My
He
goodness.
is.
Please let me jump
Yes,
in.
he is.
Let me
Go.
tell you. Let me tell
Okay,
you.
all right.
Yes.
He has never got
Yes,
more
he
than
is.
40% of the freaking vote,
And
let
that's
alone
why he's
whether
not
he's
supposed
approved.
to be president, right,
whether
Scott?
he's approved.
He wasn't supposed to win, was he?
He hasn't.
There
He
he is.
can't grow because he can't get above 40%.
Doesn't matter.
Those diehard Trump supporters are going to support him no matter what,
Yes,
right?
they will.
That's fine. Well, what does that have to do with whether you're going to impeach him or not, or whether his popularity will get him elected again, even if he underpolls? That doesn't make any sense. He was never as popular as Clinton was. So why is that even in the equation? And by the way, we promised America everything that Donald Trump was going to be, and he's kept those promises. He still hasn't grown, and that's why he's got to go. Hillary Clinton, which was a flawed candidate, only lost the presidential election in total by roughly 66,000 votes. When you tear away all the stuff in
3 states, about 77,000.
right,
Yeah.
77,000, right? Nothing's really changed in 2 or 3 years, other than we've lived with Trump confirming everything we promised America, right?
Do you see
all the
why I
Democrats?
call
Let me
it
just finish.
Puritan?
If all the Democrats just
Scott,
get
you
a
will never
decent
finish.
candidate together, right? Put him through the impeachment process when you're talking to independents, Democrats, and all of America, and he keeps talking out the side of his neck offensively the way he is. What do the Democrats have to be scared of except success?
If the Democrats, what you should be concerned about is if you send the signal, you're not actually ready to go to war.
Right. You're voting against impeachment.
Mike, that's the easy piece right there, Mark.
They voted against
Michael,
impeachment.
they have to have people fire out enough who will believe that you're willing to go to war.
What do bullies do? What bullies do is they punk you until you step back and fight. And then that's what he's doing. He's
punch him back.
And what he's doing now is just punking everybody. He's punking his own party, punking his allies, punking people around the world, except for Putin, of course. And until we step up and say, and that's why I think the impeachment, that's the really only tool that's going to mean something to him. This little psych game he's playing, oh, I want to be impeached. No, he doesn't. Who wants to be impeached?
He's daring
No,
him.
nobody wants to go through
He's
that.
daring him.
Monique, so the question is, will Pelosi take the shot? Will she stand up to the bully?
Take the shot.
Will she do it?
Take the shot.
So the reason why I called it the Puritan Party is because of what Attorney Bolden just said. Even in the midst of all of this, where we're talking about this amoral jackass,
Well, you
Trump.
stop talking. She talking.
I was talking to Mike.
No, but
I can hear you.
But there's,
Go ahead,
but see,
Monique.
because there's no respect.
Well,
And
you
what
go.
I'm trying to say is, Scott, that when he spoke of Trump, he still, when referencing Secretary Clinton, said, which was a flawed candidate. That's what we have going on the liberal side. You have a literal one who flew over the cuckoo's nest nincompoop on the other side, and we are still calling Hillary Clinton the most qualified person to ever run for the office in the history of people running for this office, a flawed candidate.
She was flawed.
Okay,
She was flawed.
She's flawed the way you're
I agree
flawed,
with you. She
I'm
was
flawed,
great,
we're
but
flawed.
she was a flawed candidate.
But the fact that in the United States of America, if you're liberal, you can't have any history. You can't have flaws. You can't have, I mean, the reason why that man is on the wall right now, they can't see it on screen, Barack Obama in all of his glory is on the wall, is because he could do 8 years with no scandal. I dare you to put
That's
3
great.
million
Just
other
put
black men
a
in a room
decent
and find
candidate up.
one who could do it. You're talking
Stop.
Roland.
The Democrats-
Scott.
But here's the piece. But Monique, hold on.
They're trying to be smart.
No, but
They're
here's the deal, though. I think sometimes
They're being weak.
I do believe that sometimes you can be so smart you're dumb, and I think there were many instances where Obama was very smart, but they got done with it.
And what did he do for black America?
And you and I disagree
What did he do
with
for black
that.
But here's the deal, though. And the reason I'm saying that, because politics is a contact sport, and the reality is when you are facing an opponent who does not care, who does not care about process,
Can't be
who
shamed.
does not care about morals or values,
Right.
who does not care. You're dealing with Mitch McConnell, who would stand there and tell Democrats when they were in control of the Senate, this thing should be done with process and decorum and things along those lines. And then when he becomes majority leader, he says, blue slip, don't care. Oh, the rule where I need both senators to agree, don't care. They even had one federal judge where the Republican senator in Wisconsin did not agree moving forward. He was like, don't give a damn. That person going
then
forward.
Why would you bloody yourself if you can't win? If you
No,
know,
no,
if
bloody
you know
yourself.
you've got a president who doesn't care, and you've got McConnell, who to me is the one man who really should not have all that power.
No, but here's the deal, though. But here's what you do. Here's why you do it. No. It's not even bloody yourself. You do it.
Oh, it's gonna be
No. You do it because you make it perfectly clear. You got the White House, and y'all control the Senate. What's the only thing that I do? I control the House. And so I'm going to take you through the ringer. I'm going to put the evidence in front of the American people. I'm going to have the hearings. I'm going to show everybody and see. And they don't want that. Because what they don't, which is why it was a sham when Barr came out and gave his interpretation of the report. And all these idiots in the media said, he was cleared. As opposed to going, can we read it for ourselves?
Right.
And then when the report gets released, it's kind of like, that's kind of not what Bob Barr, that's not really what
Nothing
happened.
like you said.
So we may not want to reconsider. What I'm saying is, to your point, I can't take the bully down unless I throw a punch.
That's right.
But if I don't throw a punch, it's going to embolden him. Now, I see they finally decided to get some guts. Folks, just a moment ago, in the vote of 230 to 198, the House voted to hold Attorney General William Barr and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross in criminal contempt of Congress for their refusals to turn over key documents tied to the 2020 census.
Let's go.
To me,
Now that's
Let's
useful.
go.
Huh?
Let's
That's
go.
useful.
Yeah.
That's immediate.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
all right.
court
Okay.
enforceable.
For the person at home, what the hell does that mean?
It means that if they
Anybody in
don't-
handcuffs? Perp walk?
That's in the foreseeable future. It's not like
Not
if
with
you
the
start an
Republican U.S.
impeachment
Attorney's Office.
hearing. But that's the thing that I'm saying about DOJ challenge. DOJ challenge means Barr challenge. Anybody who expected that the Garner matter was going to turn out a different way, did they forget who the Attorney General is? I don't
but let's
understand
stay
what
on
we're
the
doing.
impeachment.
So, hold on. Wait. No, hold up. No.
I need to hear what it means.
First of all, you said let's stay on impeachment. I'm talking about this here. Hold on. So now, as a result of this vote, now the committee can now take Barr and Ross to federal court
Yes.
According to the New York Times, to seek judicial enforcement of subpoenas for the materials in questions. A lawsuit is expected in the coming weeks, and the administration has maintained it is on firm legal footing in its position. Also, what you have here, obviously, first of all, by this decision, first of all, the action refers them to the DOJ for prosecution.
Exactly.
Well, the DOJ ain't
run by
gonna do
Barr.
it. It's run by Barr, ain't gonna do it as well. But also, it adds them, because prior to this, Eric Holder was the only member of Congress, only cabinet member ever held in contempt by Congress, and so now he has some company.
And then it was squashed.
But the question here is really, again, if you're Democrats, what is your next step? Because again, this man does not care. He does not believe in any rules whatsoever.
The only way to put him on the defensive is they have to make a decision. If you start impeachment proceedings, you put him on the defensive. By now, he has to either put on a case or he doesn't. Either he sends witnesses and documents, or he just stays at the White House, and then his only hope is that the Republicans on the House side are trying to obviously flip the scales a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to get hammered to the American people. So he has to bring these witnesses, which puts him under
No, he
cross-examination.
doesn't. Why would he?
No, I'm not saying he has to.
participate?
If he
I said
puts
that's
on
my
the
point.
defense, he
I said
certainly
if he
will.
did,
He has the
that's
Senate.
That's my point.
What does it matter?
Because the House prosecutes.
But that's my
Right.
He has
Okay.
the Senate.
No. Well, first of all,
Show up for what?
No. The House prosecutes. The Senate
Who's the
determines.
trial?
Right, but what I'm saying is the benefit of actual impeachment hearings for the people out there, of course, who hadn't read the Mueller report. What it does is, by having those televised hearings, it causes people to pay attention, and then it reveals the depths at which this person consistently lied, consistently made stuff up, and covered up, and you able to connect the dots.
What else do you think can get done for the American people while they're doing that?
Well,
Here's the deal, though.
That's
I'm
a lot.
Nothing. I'll answer it. Nothing.
Nothing.
Else.
That's a
Okay,
lot.
thank you, Roland. No, Scott. No,
nothing.
that's a lot. Because here's the thing.
Nothing.
The real pressure for Speaker Pelosi, with Trump doing the fool with his I'm gonna wear my hood on Saturday morning thing, is it makes cooperation on any other subject untenable. Because what the hope is for the people who are trying to do business for the American people right now is jobs and infrastructure.
But here's the problem.
No.
How's that working
because
for you?
everything
How's that
they
going?
even
They're
haven't
not agreeing on
haven't had a
anything.
chance.
But here's the
It's
problem.
July.
But here's-
He said no to everything.
They took power on January 2nd.
McConnell was
He
saying
doesn't
no to
have to say
everything.
it's not
hold on. Here's why. Here's why.
That God is going to deliver Republicans and Democrats,
I'm not
and they're
talking
going to
about
sing
prayer,
Kumbaya
Scott.
and move
I'm
America
really not.
forward.
I'm only really just trying to talk
It's not
without
gonna
being
happen.
interrupted. That's my
You got
only
no
goal
choice
for
now.
today's
You
show.
got to fight. You got no choice but to fight. And the Democrats need to start fighting now, or they're going to continue to get their butts kicked. And right now, the Republicans and McConnell and Trump are kicking their butts, and you keep trying to figure out a way to get around it. You got to go through it. You got to put your boxing gloves on, or draw whatever weapon you're going to have, and get out. There's nothing left. He can go. Tomorrow, he's going to tweet and start calling black women on the House side out of their names, B's, H's. What are we going to do? We're going to impeach him and not impeach him. What are we going to do? We're going to censure him again and say how awful it is. And then what if he starts using the N-word towards us? And the Republicans and the GOP say, well, he didn't really mean that like that. Well,
taken out of context.
Yeah, taken out of context, right? And then what are we going to say? We're going to censure him again. This president is not a president. He is not just a bully. He is a dictator who is supported by a GOP in a democracy that is completely being undermined. And the only way you can deal with this is to use force against force.
I believe
Democrats want to hold their fire.
I believe.
They keep threatening him.
And I fundamentally believe that what you don't want to put yourself in a position is to look up on the Wednesday after Election Day, November 2020, and then it's sort of like a coach who had 2 timeouts.
Didn't use
them.
Yes.
And you're in a post-game news conference, and you talking to the news media. News media's like, why in the hell you ain't called timeout, dog? You had timeout. What were you thinking? And you're like, no, you didn't call timeout. That, to me, I just believe when you're going up against a thug,
That's right.
you got to swing.
Let your hands go.
So let's see. Let's see what happens.
And the
final
question-
comment. Final
Let your
comment.
hands go.
The question really is how you swing, because it's July, right?
Yes.
1919. I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
July 2019.
I'm sorry, I'm exhausting you, Scott. Here's the thing.
I am
with
too.
with my time out, what I would rather do is say, hey, out there, everyone who's going to see this, register to vote, because whether they start impeachment proceedings tomorrow or not, when it comes time to re-elect or to newly elect a president of the United States, this same fool is going to be in the White House. And what you need to do is go now and register so that you can make sure that the next president of the United States is not Donald J. Trump.
Here's the deal, Monique.
Whether they start impeachment proceedings today, and I hope they do, because I don't like my cousin being called
Come around
a
to see it
slave
our
and an
way
imp and a
now.
Negro. It's not your way, and don't start with me right now. What I am saying is, no matter what they do, it's going to take a while. And the reason why we're in this position is because we didn't go out en masse and vote. I want to change that so we don't have to fight this fight again. And the next time we talk about this, we can be talking about people getting some jobs and some health care and black women not dying in Georgia of childbirth more than other people, and et cetera and so on.
And
things that really matter. I
will end this.
No,
I
I'm
will
not
end
running.
this. I will end this segment this way. I said this on Tuesday about the important to register, mobilize, and organize. I still believe, though, while you are doing that, you still whoop his ass when you need to. All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, Roland Martin here. They are back. The folks with marijuanastock.org, of course. You might remember just a few months ago, of course, many of you had the opportunity to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign. They raised a ton of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company. Now they have a new investment opportunity that is as good, if not even better, than the last one. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is the cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S., creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of the plants, which makes for an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model, folks, is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed high-paying tenants. They are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. You can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. All right, for you to invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org to get in the game. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.